Hey. Alright, here we go. This is Darius Gaiden. This game and the one that immediately follows it, which is like a PlayStation game, the arcade game is more or less PlayStation hardware, is G Darius. Both of those games, this one and the one after, are like, this is like peak Darius. This is what most people consider to be the best games. A lot of people would say this is their favorite Darius game, and the people who don't would probably say G Darius is their favorite game in the series. So these are notably two of the 4-3 formatted games. This is the only single-screen 4-3 formatted Darius game, as far as I know. All the others being widescreen, multi-screen type displays. So that's pretty different. Also has Turbo Fire and both attack buttons are the same button. So that's fantastic. Like, that's a huge improvement in the series right there. They just made it a simple one button deal. With a separate bomb button. The bomb's really awesome too. And you can capture larger ships in this game. It does not work. You do not have capture orbs like in G Darius, as you can see. So it involves blowing up a control orb that's already on the enemy and carefully without destroying the enemy. And then you get their help for a little while. They're very slow and don't dodge enemy shots, and they die very, very, very quickly. So they're just kind of a novelty more than like a major strategy part. Although they may play into scoring a lot. I don't know. I don't know scoring strategy for these games because like I said in the description, I just pump in a bunch of credits and see how far I can get, and I just usually play them in 9 credits, which is the credit limit on these machines anyway. And I feel like it's a good number too, and I want to say that's the same number of credits that they give you in the Saturn version, which I played all the time. It might have been 5, but it was I think it was somewhere between 5 and 9. Saturn port's great. I don't know if it's arcade perfect or not, but it's close enough to where no normal person's going to care. Also, that being said, if you don't have a Saturn, no reason to seek that version out. It's very easy to emulate the game in the Final Burn, like I'm doing right now, or the MAME. And it runs great there as well. Perfectly great. You don't have to worry about it being less than arcade perfect, I guess, because it's the arcade ROM running perfectly. It doesn't have any glitches anymore, as far as I know. Or if it does, again, no normal person would care. Shit. This should probably kill it. I'm wrong. Look how wrong I was. Awesome music in this game, courtesy of Taito's Zuntata music team, who always do just the best work on this shit. They're not afraid to get weird with it. And that's why we get these really like out there sci-fi themes in these games. I kind of made fun of Joe Reddifer in a comment on the most recent GameSack where he described one of the game's music as being standard Taito mediocrity, and I'm like, what the actual hell? Sorry you're not into this weird shit, but I am. How's it mediocre regardless? I mean, if anyone's gonna have a complaint about Zuntata's music, wouldn't it be too weird? It's just too weird, you know. I don't like all this weird vocal stuff in it or whatever. I love it though, personally, so I don't know. I'm not a video game music guy, and I love it. So, I mean, I'm not somebody who generally listens to a lot of music from video games when I'm not playing them. I'm not gonna say never, but very rarely. And it's basically always Castlevania. If I do. Shit. Getting a lot of calls or texts or something. Hang on. All right. Come on, man. At least it didn't cheat me out of the damage. I was afraid it was gonna. He's hiding off screen like a coward. Yeah, what is this? Taito F3 or something like that? F2, F3. This is Taito's 2D system that is really, at this point, designed to do a lot of 3D style graphics. As you can see, there's more and more of these like 3D rastering effects and scaling effects and stuff as we go along. And line scrolling and a bunch of other stuff mixed together. That stage down at the bottom was the better example of that. But they give you very little time to choose. And I'm just going to go across the top anyway here. But yeah, there's some parts where there's things that look somewhat 3D and whatever, and I think it is closer to what Saturn was going for when it was being engineered originally, before they probably enhanced its 3D abilities even more. But I really would not be surprised at all. Oh, man, that really went so poorly. I can't believe how many things went wrong there. Anyway, I wouldn't be surprised at all though if Sega at the time, prior to thinking about 3D and stuff, were looking at Taito's hardware and being like, how can we bring something like this home where it can kind of do a bunch of scaling and a bunch of 3D-ish shit and could probably handle Doom and could, you know what I mean, but also like could like pull off, things that are a mixture of sprite scaling and 2D on 3D or 3D on 2D type stuff. That's the way the arcade industry was kind of going. And then, of course, the PlayStation and the stuff that's related to it, the Namco System 11 and things like that, and Model 1 and Model 2 really like pushed that type of 3D forward. Like where it was more 3D and with like 3D characters on 3D backgrounds and 3D environments and textured everything and lighting effects on everything and stuff eventually. That was like the first big 3D jump, and then the second one was the Voodoo Dreamcast thing that brought out the next generation. Right. But there's probably a lot of people who would have been happy just because of game design reasons if this type of hardware had been the more popular kind of design rather than the fully 3D stuff. Maybe that's what separates Darius Gaiden fans from G Darius. But I mean, I really appreciate both, so. What a bunch of bullcrap. Other later Darius games are better about like turning you around so you can fight the ship. Maybe later and earlier. Didn't Darius 2 have stuff where you turn around to fight? I'm getting scared now. Is this thing ever gonna die? No. I'm gonna die instead, I guess. Well, that was cool. At least I was able to get my bag and not get hurt. I mean, even though I lost already. Maybe 9 credits is even too much. I don't think so though, because I think that the later bosses in the game is really stupidly hard. So this lets us see the levels, but not really beat the game because that's super hard, and I probably won't even get all that close to beating it. We'll see though. I believe the top path is generally the easiest path as well. So I will do G Darius at some point also, and unlike when I previously streamed it on Twitch way back in the day, I will do the newfangled, fancy new PS5 version or whatever. Although I'm not going to use any of the upscaling features because it looks like ass. PlayStation graphics without geometry correction are not worth upscaling. Like, they actually look better in the lower resolution to me because it covers how nasty everything is and how broken everything looks. But if you have DuckStation with PGXP, you can run them in high res and it looks like an old PC game. It's kind of neat. So, same deal. It's the same deal with GDarius as anything else. If you're gonna upscale it, use DuckStation, use PGXP, and don't let it look like crap. Otherwise, just play it in low resolution like it originally was, and it's fine. I think it's called GDarius HD though. Been looking for it on PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, or Steam. That's probably where you'll find it. It does have leaderboards and stuff, so it is, and it also has both the arcade. It has the arcade, the revised arcade, and the PlayStation version all in there. You cannot use any upscaling features on the PlayStation. It's very direct emulation. But it's cool that they're all included and for comparison. So I think it's a good package. It has a fixed slowdown option, and I'm really disappointed that doesn't even seem to do anything, to be honest. I was hoping it would get the games running at a locked 60 FPS, like smooth frame rate with corrected speed or whatever. Also, so it doesn't run too fast doing that, but like, it doesn't even do that. Like, I don't know what it does. How much health does this bastard have? There he goes, finally. Yeah, the backgrounds just get freaky psychedelic. Shamelessly freaky psychedelic. I think we can just see some 3D style effects here. Or maybe not even basic parallax, maybe. I don't know. Damn. I have no idea what killed me. I guess I got caught on something. Alright, I got this guy working with me. Oh, you bastards. Yeah, this is actually a pretty crazy looking background. Like, that's hella cool. That's using multiple tile layers and line scrolling together to create, yeah, what basically looks like polygons. It looks like textured polygons almost, so yeah, that's pretty cool. Oh. Wow, they really did get me to waste my bomb that time, didn't they? This boss music is the most awesome thing ever. By the way, it does not, literally does not get any cooler than this. Joe. Stupid game sack. Man, on some of Taito's old games, the only thing I like about them is the music. Like Darius 1 probably falls into that category, although I don't know if its music's nearly as good. Ninja Warriors definitely falls into that category. Boring ass game, great soundtrack. One second. All right, here we go. Are they resetting my score every credit, or how does this work? I think they do. If we want to do score attacks, we'll have to, like, yeah, reset and start over and do that. But I would like to do some long attempts first. It's pretty fun. It's more than pretty fun. These games are great. I mean, it's a very straightforward shooter. It's not reinventing the wheel or anything. It's you shoot things, you get missile and shot upgrades, and you have a bomb. You fight fish. Occasionally you get this cool, like, take over the enemy thing, but it's rare. Yeah, they reset your score, but I did capture that guy. Yeah, I'm getting rocked. Nice. This is my last credit, though. And it's the last level. What a coincidence. 9 credits does work out really well for this game. I mean, I'd have to do a lot better. You'd need to probably have a few credits coming out of the last level because of how stupid I think the last boss is on all the paths. Well, I made it to Zone Z. Just a second, I'll be back. All right. The thing about score attacking this game is that there's nothing to really mix up in it. You can't try different ships or anything. The only thing to mix up is the path through the levels, which is a big thing to mix up. Takes you through a totally different game. But it's like if you're starting at the game, you're only making it through like 2 levels. You're just basically trying to decide which of 2 levels you're trying to practice, which one's going to work out better for you, and then I guess you kind of keep repeating that process. But it's way harder than, I think all of the Darius games are way harder than normal shooters. Like, to a degree that is almost weird to me. And, like, they almost don't seem built around playing with 1 credit. Like, if you look at the main gameplay modes on, the new Darius releases, like Chronicle Bursts or whatever, Chronicle Burst Savior or whatever the hell the most recent one I play is, like, yeah, it's not really, those are scoring attack modes that, like, kind of let you free play on most of the time in every way. And it's more like about completionism and grinding than it is about, like, being super good at this insanely hard shooter where you're gonna die unless you're really, really good at it. I'm already dying on the first level here, so yeah. Just kind of how it goes for me on this game. Oh, yeah, you go. One of the things that is wrong with people's perception of shmups is that bullet hell is much too cool sounding. Oh, the hardest fucking games must be bullet hells. The bullet hell. You went to hell with all those bullets. That's how many bullets there were. You were in hell. Bullet hell. Can you survive this bullet hell? No, man. Bullet hells are not really that hard of a type of game. And the hardest shooters are not bullet hells. And Darius is proof of that. This is not a bullet hell, by the way. Really hard doesn't mean bullet hell, and bullet hell doesn't mean really hard. They're not the same thing. A bullet hell is a type of game. It's like its own type of game. It's a type of game where there's a bunch of shots on the screen, little tiny shots, lots of them all over the screen. They move really slowly compared to something like this. Very slowly. They're not even necessarily targeted at you. The screen tends to flood with them, and they're not necessarily targeted. And your ship is often has a real-time way of changing its speed. But it's all about, and it has a tiny 1 pixel hitbox or hurt box. That's the only place where you can be damaged, is in this 1 pixel. So you're just kind of maneuvering this little tiny thing through this slow moving, massive, dangerous stuff. They're not easy games by any means. Most bullet hell shmups are fairly difficult, but they're just not the most difficult kind of shmup. They're just not. There's worse. It truly is, and I do think that Darius falls heavily on the end of just everything's fast and it goes right at you. It's really, really something. And that's both true of the old and the new ones. The new games are not any easier. In fact, they're probably even harder. And again, they're not bullet hell shooters. They have tons of shots on the screen, but it's not. I mean, it's like this. It's not like the screen is mostly shots or whatever. Also, yeah, there's a bunch of other things about bullet hell shmups that make them unique. Like they also they pour, not only do they pour on enemy shots, but they pour on bonuses usually. Like bonus rewards will flood the screen, and a lot of times there's ways to convert shots into bonuses and things like that. Games like Death Smiles and Pro Gear and Gigawing use that mechanic, for example. And those are bullet hell shmups. Those are bullet hell with a capital B, capital H. And that doesn't mean that they're harder than this game. They're not. It means that they're a type of game that plays a certain way. But yeah, people who aren't familiar with the genre just use it to describe as a term to describe hard shmups, and it's not really right at all. Or shmups in general now, because they're not familiar with that term. And then old school people hate the term shmups and aren't even really comfortable calling them shoot 'em ups because they always called them shooters. The shooter has a very modern meaning, and you just kind of have to move on with that. Embrace shmup like Shmup Junkie has. One of the reasons why I point out that bullet hells are their own type of game is because most shmups that are made nowadays are bullet hells. Most newer ones that I've played, and I haven't played a lot of newer ones. I think the only newer one I've streamed is Jamestown Plus Plus. But guess what type of game it is? But it's not always true. I mean, because we still get Darius games, we still get R-Type games. R-Type's one of the harder running series right now, probably with more releases. the most. Just because there's been R-Type Final 2, and then 3, and then Dimensions, and now we're getting Dimensions 2 or 3 or whatever they're calling it. I think 3, because it is a remake of R-Type 3. Oh wait, no, I did stream another new shooter, and fairly recently. Also, that was Eartheon, which is a Sega Genesis game, Genesis and Mega Drive release from 2025. Came out last summer. Fantastic game. Not a bullet hell console shooter. It plays like a proper console shooter. It's very good, very very good. One of the best games I played last year. It's available on other stuff though too. By the way, I don't know that you can buy the ROMs directly, although you may be able to extract it from the Windows version. But it is available on Steam and Switch and PlayStation and Xbox. Actually, does anyone know if the PlayStation version of that is that out for Eartheon? And also, does it have leaderboards? Because if it had leaderboards of some sort, I don't remember how the scoring worked in that game though, so maybe it's not worth it. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure what they wanted me to do there. Too many of the bosses seem like they're just some variation of this guy. I don't know though. Oh, it's getting worse. Yeah, this guy will not die and is a total dick. Alright, crazy space fleet. So that was like just immediately into the boss, huh? The boss is going to be a huge nightmare, I assume. Looks like it's a giant battleship I gotta fight. So it's not a fleet. They lied. Or I misinterpreted the image. Yeah, my missiles seem like they're hella powered up, right? I don't know if I've ever noticed them look that crazy before. Oh, damn. See, now if the whole game was nothing but these big weird floaty things slowly moving around and you had to move through a bunch of them with a tiny ship, then it would be a bullet hell. That's the kind of behavior. Oh, these are even weirder though. You can push them around with your shots. Is there a way to turn around that I'm just not realizing? Is there another button here? I don't think there is, so... Which gives me very little options on what I can do to fight this thing. Oh, okay. Yeah, I really just need you to face me instead of cheating. Can we do that? Why is this the only Darius game that doesn't just flip your ship around? That's pretty cool. That's a first. Damn it. Sucks to get something that cool and immediately lose it. The crusty hammer. Ugh. What? That's all she wrote. Back in a minute. Try to do better. Man, this gets so shitty right away. Like, it gets so frustrating, like just a few screens in. It folds a lot faster than I expected him to. Oh man, I thought I'd gotten that one, but I guess not. But yeah, I am gonna rip on Joe from GameSack for a while for calling Taito music standard Taito mediocrity. Like that's the strangest like criticism you could give of it, because I would think that if somebody didn't like Zuntata's music, they would be like, I don't like Zuntata's music because it's just too weird, man. Not it's mediocre. What? I feel like the sound on this is better on Saturn, but maybe that's just subjectively somehow. I've said that about other arcade games as well. Like I really feel like Street Fighter Alpha 2 sounds better on Saturn than like any other format, like including the original arcade ROM. I don't know why that's the case. Does the Saturn like boost certain channels or something? Or like upsample something? Or does it, yeah, maybe it has like an upscaler for audio. That wasn't uncommon. I mean, that high-end CD players used to have up converters in them to give, because really CD quality sound is 16-bit 44 kilohertz, which is really not all that great. It could have been better. And yet I still think it was the best sound format we had back in the day. Records sounded good if you had a really fancy setup, but most people didn't. Most people had grounding hum and scratchy needle and all that shit going on. Also, if you listen to a record a bunch, it didn't sound as good over time and stuff. Um, Cassettes were awful, man. Cassettes had the worst sound quality. They were so flat sounding. So yeah, CD was still a jump, even though it's the 16-bit depth was where they really screwed up. If they had gone with 44 kilohertz at 24-bit, then it would have been awesome. Um, 40, 48 kilohertz at 24-bit is what like DVDs and stuff use, and that's like a great audio format. They actually did make CDs like that use that format as well, called Super CD. Um, but it was not widely supported. Back when I used to collect MP3s in the later era of that, before streaming services, I would always try to get Super CD rips of stuff if I could. Like I had a bunch of Rolling Stones albums that way, and things like that. Classics that got re-released. You could get in that format. I think there were even some fancy ass car stereos that supported it, but it's just not. It wasn't common. Oh yeah, and I didn't mention 8-track because that's kind of before my time. But 8-track has the exact same sound quality as cassette tape, because 8-track and cassette tape are the exact same format of tape in a different cartridge. It works on the cartridge actually works in a different way, looping 8 separate pieces of tape, or no, 4 separate pieces of tape with 2 sides, I guess, instead of one long reel of tape with 2 sides. There's 2 tracks per side or whatever. You can actually get converters to play regular cassette tapes and 8-track players, and it plays as if it was just one big track, of course. A lot of 8-track players don't have proper fast forward and rewind functions, though, because of the way they work. They kind of just expected you to play out the song, and then it would be looped back to the beginning. I think that's the way they work. Again, before my time. What was I even rambling about the problem here? Oh yeah, talking about the sound quality on the Saturn. So I'm sure it also had some sort of wavetable type thing like the PlayStation could do. And maybe it was just better in that regard. Maybe that's why the audio on certain arcade games sounds better. I don't know. I'll have to look it up. Or have a robot lie to me about it. Worth giving up a bomb to get a shield. And get more mileage out of this. Wow, I just flew right into something and died. It's really easy to do that in this game, and it's usually pretty easy to discern the foreground and background, but I made a bad guess there and just right into something. It's too bad none of these Darius games manage to stay completely unique across their content. G Darius maybe does the best job of them once we get to that one. Like, I think every level is distinct or really close to it. They don't really recycle a lot of graphics. They do, however, recycle all the bosses, and the variations between the bosses don't feel very distinct at all. The newer games aren't really any better in that regard either. The levels are all distinct, I guess. Although they don't feel particularly ambitious. They aren't, because they've really just been recycling the same assets since the PSP release. Even the ones that came out just like 5 years ago or whatever. But I say just, but I mean that is the most recent probably in the series. It's like 2019, 2020, somewhere in that range probably. Maybe even older than that. It might be like 2016. I don't know. In which case, we definitely need a new Darius. Oh, and the about that Darius Chronicles and Bursts and Savior and whatever ones we've got now, they are remixing Darius. What is it called? Darius Chronicles. Whatever the PSP one was called. They're all just the PSP game, which can be upscaled and looks the same. That's not to say that the PSP one's just as good, because it's missing a bunch of features that the newer ones have. But what I am trying to say is if you're playing on a device where the modern ones aren't available and you're using some handheld retro device or something like that, PSP version is really good. Good option. Good way to experience a very similar game. Nice. Oh, that was ill-timed. There is a remixed version of this game, but I don't know if it's just a hack or if it's legit. I'd have to look into it a little more. Awesome. I got the squid working for me now. Is this the first time making it to a final boss? I did a lot better this time, huh? I have a couple of credits, I could actually beat it, maybe. I mean, not likely, but I could. I need to make sure I use every bomb in the hopes of doing that. This thing is really well animated. Ah, shit. Damn. These are pretty crazy. There we go. And I beat the game on the V path. Interesting. I'm dead. Is that how it turns out? I'm just dead. Alright. It sank to the bottom of the ocean and then it snowed over the ocean on an empty ocean planet where I'm dead. Okay. I'm sure it's different on every path. That's the most bleak one. Probably because it's the easiest. That's some funny stuff. Back in a second. It's cool that they use the golden fish during the credits because it just shows how well those graphics scale and how well done the 3D effect with 2D graphics is done. Actually, I really screwed this one up. Actually, maybe I should just die out and not continue. I'm gonna reset our credits and start over, so it's not in question. Yeah, the laser helps a whole lot with that because it just cuts through the tiles instead of being blocked by them. But the damage is probably really low. That's the only major catch. So, yeah, it wasn't too bad. Does the fireball phase after the laser though, and then your shots are blocked? I don't know, that seems weird. Oh shit. That was really a long time before my first continuing that I just fly up into the ceiling and die. Immediately. I'm not gonna capture this fucking thing, there's no way. Got almost all my shots in before it even exposed its orb. I got that guy on board so fast I didn't notice that I got that guy on board. I had no idea that I had captured him. Shit. I did pretty well there, though. All things considered, I got really deep in the zone there for a minute. Shit. Damn, what are you supposed to do here? Exactly. Spend money. The solution to your problems on the last level are financial. Some very noticeable CG for a change. What? What a bunch of bullcrap. Oh man. Let's see, what time are we at here? Give it one more go. I love how if you continued, instead of putting in your It will let you put in your initials if you beat the game. That's pretty interesting, but it won't let you if you continued. Instead, it puts it in as CNT, which is pretty funny. No one in an English-speaking arcade is going to read that as continue. Now let's get beat down one last time. Following the bottom path this time. I know there's something, one or two in between there, but whatever. We're just going to go straight down and go down in flames. I don't make that one work yet. Which is interesting because I don't remember having that much trouble with it ever in the past. Fuck. Oh, that was great. It's just downward path every time this time. It was a mixed bag. I died on the level, but I didn't die on the boss or whatever. Ow! And then I immediately died here. That's horrible. That's yeah. I don't know. I don't see any circumstance where that's getting captured. That doesn't even make sense to me. I was invincible, and I'm still like, nope, can't stay inside this crater forever. I really don't understand how to dodge that lightning. Like, I don't get it. Shit. God damn it. This is bullcrap. That's the thing about this game too, is even after just a few levels, the enemies are tough enough to where you really need the upgrades. So if you've been continuing along, it is really, really tough to get back in there and start destroying enemies again. Chasing way too far forward on the screen there. Shit. That's a pretty hard point in the game now. On the bottom path, it gets hard fast though. You can really tell. Fatty glutton. Nice. I'm definitely getting too tired to carry on, which is why the gameplay has gotten so sloppy. So that's been my last run. Shit. Might as well use these bombs while I have them. Is the mouth gonna need to hit? Not even clear on that. Just die, please. Thank you. Yeah, this bottom path is really treacherous. And that's quite the attack, too. That thing just sprays out shots. Nice. Did I not just fight a dude like this? I feel like these fish should be more distinct. Shit. Nope, still got a credit left. Presumably the hardest level ever. Shit. Really? What a bunch of bullshit. I was like, is it ever gonna kick off the boss? Felt like hung there for a second. Oh, okay. Nice start. This is going great. Yeah, that's quite a boss. Alright, well I'm gonna wrap it up there. That's really fun though. Darius Gaiden, Darius Gaiden. Probably the best game in the series. It's either this one or G Darius, which is the game right after this. They're both great. I'll do the G Darius re-release at some point here. But I'm gonna wrap this up for now. Coming up later this week, we've got Unreal, the 1998 first-person shooter. Bloody Roar Primal, I think is what it's called. an enhanced version of Bloody Roar 3 for the GameCube. I might do some more black box games, and then like next week after that, I'm gonna get into Sonic the Hedgehog, or I'm sorry, Sonic Mania, and Bloody Roar 4. So anyway, that's kind of what we're playing through right now. And thanks for watching. Have a good night.